everyone, Mark and Joey here. The ultimatesportschannel.com is who we are, and you can check us out as well on our website where we have newsfeed every day of 50 stories going on in the world of sports, separate of what we're doing in our stories, because of course, as we tell you in our description, we're a show fans for fans. We talk about the fan side of things as opposed to getting into stats and a whole bunch of other stuff that people can drone on about. We want to talk about feature stories. That's what we do here on the Ultimate Sports Channel. So please check out the website. A special notice to our friends at Roku. That's where we started, Joey, on Roku. It's been our place that's really kind of built us. It's over 30,000 subscriptions now, subscribers. And we appreciate every one of you. By the way, on Roku, if you don't mind, when you go to our channel, you can hit on the star button, Joey. What do you do then?
Yeah, hit a star channel, give us a rating from 1 to 5, and we appreciate that you do that. It's important for us to get those ratings up, keep bringing good content to you, and improving wherever we can.
And it attracts more fans when they see the reviews on the channel. So if you do that, really appreciate it. Also, Vimeo.com, also Patreon.com. So you can go to any one of those places and see us. We do also have some great bonuses on Patreon.com. You can subscribe to us there and make sure you get all our shows. And we've got some great bonuses if you do that. There's no cost right now to do that, so go ahead and make that happen. Joey, you know, it's Wednesday night here. We're doing the shows on Wednesdays more often now, letting the weekend kind of finish up and things that might happen because of the weekend. Obviously, a lot of that was NFL coaching changes, all that kind of stuff happened at the end of the week, so we always waited. This week, a couple other things. We're going to get in first into Kobe Bryant. I think it's been the story of the last 5 or 6 days now. I forget exactly the day that the tragedy happened. Joe, so what do you think of what's happening? Well, first of all, I guess we need to say, of course, it's a tragedy. We were very saddened by what happened, but maybe in a different way than others.
Well, I feel sorry for everyone that was involved.
Exactly.
I think as much as Kobe Bryant, obviously, you know, it's unreasonable to think that it wouldn't have been taken this way because he is the one everyone knows. He's the one first reported on. One of the most famous basketball players of all time, so it's understandable. Across the whole sports world, really, where he connected with so many other top athletes, that obviously they all talk, you know, the best in the world, all, you know, have connections, they help each other. So It makes sense that, everyone focus on Kobe Bryant. We at home focus on everybody in the crashes. Now everyone has done too, which is great to hear. You know, a coach, a family that's going to leave 2 kids without parents, you know, without a sibling. Young girls, obviously Kobe Bryant's daughter was very, very sad. And the 3 girls actually all under the age of 20 on theirs. Very, very sad. The whole thing is awful, and it was so sudden and shocking really to hear the news. And then obviously, you know, TMZ reporting it. I heard there was a lot of beef with that because unfortunately his wife had to find out at a basketball game. If you let the police take care of it, they make sure, first of all, that's confirmed that it is Kobe Bryant. It is these people. And they can call at the right time, or see them at their house, that sort of situation. Instead of finding out on the news as she did, was very sad to hear today in the news that's how she found out. It's just awful, you know, for everybody involved, all the families involved. And I do understand the Kobe Bryant's particular aspect and his daughter aspect, as he obviously is known the most famous person in a long time to go down like this. His daughter and the impact he had on all sports, especially basketball and women's basketball too. So I think it was handled pretty well. I would have liked, obviously, the other families to get more recognition sooner, but they are getting it now. They unfortunately did not know the names, unlike you would know the name of Kobe Bryant. And I feel bad for everybody. I really, really do. And I think it's important that everyone's seeing it as now, you know, this is tragedy for everyone involved and all the families. And we just hope that they all end up okay and can grieve, hopefully, as best as you can with something like this. I don't even know how to put it into words. We have been very lucky not to have that around us. So wish them all the best. Very, very sad news. It's great what they're doing to honor them. Shaq's donating all the money he makes at the Super Bowl weekend party to the families and Kobe Bryant's charity. So that's great work there too. And I think it's been very sad, but they're going to honor him now. And it's unfortunately what happens is that at least we can live on with the legacy he left us.
Yeah, Joe, I don't totally agree. And I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there, but, you know, it was so overdone on his side. I think, unfortunately, the NBA players have they have the place to go. They have TV. They have like 19 sports talk shows in the morning after everything happened. It was really overdone so badly, so much so that one of the sportscasters said this will be remembered like the day President Kennedy died. And I was in absolute shock to hear something like this. Kobe Bryant, first of all, I think he's done well since he retired. I'll give him that. He was not a very nice guy. He was not a very good teammate. He ran Shaq out of town, although they mended fences. They got along now, and Shaq said nice things about him, obviously. Shaq hated Kobe Bryant for many, many years for being run out of LA. Kobe had criminal charges against him. I really take offense. I honestly take offense to they making him look like he's some kind of hero. This was a man who played basketball. That's all he did. He did a lot more after basketball, which is great. That's all they're thinking about. But the baseball coach who passed away with him, this was a man who donated his whole life to kids. He was a high school baseball coach. This was a man who should have really got as much attention as Kobe does. I know the platform's not there. I know most of the guys that are on TV, everybody had no idea who he was. It took way too long to get to the other people. The real tragedy here, folks, is the 3 girls who died. They're the super tragedies. They do not get to fulfill what looked like a great life ahead for all of them. They both obviously had great parents, and it was also a single, like a girlfriend was a friend of theirs. So those parents were not even involved.
Yeah, I mean, you had the pilot too.
So much more than Kobe Bryant. And I was kind of insulted. I really was. This was not a man that was unblemished in his life, and you should not be able to take the last 4 years of his life and make him look like some kind of god. I think the sports shows just overdid it in a massive, massive way. Anyway, that's my feelings.
I don't think it was, I think unfortunately you don't know anybody else in the crash. I think it's hard. It would have been nice maybe if someone wanted to come on TV and talk about the coach, a former player maybe.
Well, they did do that like 2 days ago.
Oh, did they?
The president of the school and his assistant coach came on. Very touching. Really, but they should have been there the first day. This is 5 days away.
They never identified those bodies. That's part of the problem that the LA had. They all should have came out together. But the problem is the people that reported this is TMZ does not know the other people, but they knew Kobe. That was his helicopter. That's part of the problem here, and that's why the LAPD was so upset. It was supposed to be released like this, and I think if it was, it would have been different if they released all the names together. I think you would have had the coach's name out there and people, but no one even identified the coach or the 7 bodies besides Kobe and his daughter, because obviously they didn't know.
So, I guess, yeah.
So they didn't even know who was on. They didn't even know
who
was on there.
No, they did have a manifest of who was on there.
Okay.
So they knew this coach was there.
But they didn't release it.
But
like
they hadn't
Kobe.
confirmed. They hadn't confirmed the deaths. That's correct. Yeah.
So it is a little bit hard. I think obviously comparing to a president was a little exaggerated. But at the same, at the
John
same,
F. Kennedy,
right? It's exaggerated, but
I can't believe this guy wasn't torn apart in the press.
I think the one thing you do notice is obviously we don't know Kobe Bryant, and what it looks like here is that he did touch more people than we could have ever thought he did from someone who just looks at him as a fan. Obviously, women's basketball, tennis, and Djokovic, and literally every sport. You hear Lewis Hamilton, Tiger Woods. I'm always on the side of everyone's had a bad part and a good part, and unfortunately, time heals all wounds. So we always remember the end. We always remember the end. We'll remember Tiger for what he is now, not kind of what he did before. There's always 2 sides of it, but what I think it did was, unfortunately, the names were not released properly. Obviously, Kobe was first, and they were released later. I wish it was together, and so did the police. Like I said, that was their point. But at the end of the day, what this does maybe show is there was more to him than we could have ever known. And at least it was good at the end. At least it was good for his family. At least it was good for all his friends. And it was clearly good for everyone involved in his academy, his Mamba Academy, the girls' basketball, which he was continuing to build, helping other superstars in other sports. So the way I look at it is, unfortunate scenario, Kobe Bryant's death was released so far in advance to any other people involved. So it looked like no one cared about the other people. That's part one. But part 2 is, they've done what they can to help out the other families. Shaq and a lot of people are trying to help out these other families now. They're giving them exposure. They brought those people on to the interview, as you said. And, at the end of the day, people are now understanding it's 9 fatal tragedies that are very, very sad. And, that's all we can really say from now on. It's a legend that Kobe Bryant has created, that his will live on longer than maybe the coaches or other people, and that's just the thing of sports. I don't think it's anything against the other people that died. I just hope that they continue to remember this tragedy as years go on, as 9 people died, and it's really, really sad, and more importantly, 3 girls that never got to live any life compared to the baseball coach or Kobe Bryant. It is horrible, everything that went on here. Basketball is one of the biggest sports in the world, so you'll hear about Kobe a lot more and for a lot longer. It's just the way it is. but at least I can say people did say good things about him. So not knowing him, obviously, at least, it wasn't just some people said good things. It wasn't just basketball people said good things. It's, people in so many other sports at the top of the world said he affected them in some sort of way. And even women's basketball, which apparently he was really working hard to grow and make better. So, you get remembered for the end, and that's him right now. And congratulations for him for doing that, for making a change in his older years. And that's what we'll be remembered by, and hopefully everyone remembers the coach and the poor girls that were also on there, and of course the pilot who had the tough decision to even go up in the first place.
Well, it's an interesting, let's get to that, Joey. I've flown a ton in my life for work. I have actually skipped flights that looked really bad. I used to, those of you who don't know Canada too well, you will know even in the U.S., the Midwest can get some pretty bad weather. It's one thing, people will never kind of, step aside when the weather's really bad, and it's sad to see. It sounded like this was, I don't know who put the pressure on, but someone put the pressure on to get up there in what now seems like way worse weather than we were originally told. It's sad that could have been the reason they're trying to get to a basketball game, and sometimes not to say that there was something done wrong here because we just don't know. But man, you know what? Sometimes it's not worth the risk. We've talked about that before, and it's so sad that weather might have caused this. We're going to learn more as we go on. Anyway, we bring up different sides of the story. I'm like I say, I was kind of offended by what went on, and now, like I said, there's 19 sports shows on, so you hear it 19 times, all the Kobe stories. But also, it is what it is. So let's realize the fact that there's actually the people who suffer in these kinds of situations are the people left. Obviously more than the people who were passed away because they're gone. But the families that are left over, I love to hear somebody like Shaq is doing what he's doing. That'll be things done for these families to help out. I mean, the baseball coach's family, him, his wife, and his daughter are gone. There's still a daughter and a son now to live a life without their family. Yeah,
and respectfully, you do forget that, obviously the baseball coach and his wife, they're the providers for their family, more so than, obviously.
He wouldn't have had $30 million a year to sock in the bank. So.
That's the obviously
hopefully
the
they have some life insurance.
Good thing for Shaq for doing that.
I agree.
And I think they're going to get continued support. And, money doesn't solve anything. It's just another proof that no one's invincible, and it's really sad. But you really hope that the families can do well to get over it. And that, they just, hopefully stay strong, because that's really the toughest part is the people that, Vanessa, who is married to Kobe, his daughters that are alive, his newborn daughters, two young daughters will never
get to know him.
Never get to know Kobe. It's horrible to say, but it actually affects them the least, as it does affect the oldest daughter, who probably knew him very, very well, and knew the superstar of Kobe. Probably felt her dad was invincible. I mean, that's the feeling around it. And then you look at the other family with the coach and his wife. Now there's two kids without any parents and without a sibling. I mean, that I can't even fathom waking up one day that both my parents are gone. And no matter what age you are, that's got to be so difficult, but especially when your parents aren't that old, you're only in your 20s or teens. That's horrible. And then, of course, the pilot whose wife and kids are by as well, and thinking that's just another dry run. I'm going to go fly for Kobe. He was Kobe's pilot for many, many years. It's just another day. So, and that was all of it is very sad, but it's the families that suffer afterwards. I'm glad Shaq and other people, I know they're going to help him out.
And there's sad parts of this, but sometimes sort of you feel better about the fact that was his pilot. That was his helicopter. Like, it wasn't like a new pilot, or something like that, where there's this tragedy brought on the family of this pilot. He's a very competent pilot, had been Kobe's pilot for a long, long time. Kobe used to take the helicopter to the stadium.
Yeah.
He took it everywhere. This was not some, random thing with him. He was doing that. The pilot had tremendous experience, all those kinds of things. So I was kind of happy to hear that. The tragedy wasn't worse that it was somebody, and a wife that has to live with the fact her husband, was, first time with Kobe or something and caused this accident. These were people. This guy had many, many hours in the air with Kobe and without Kobe. Quite frankly, the helicopter is one of the safest ones. It's an executive / celebrity helicopter that has like 100 and some odd that are out being used every day. So you know what? It's a tragedy, but looks like it was kind of just everybody involved was still very experienced in what they're doing. Made a decision to go up in the bad weather, and it turned out the way it did. So Joey, the other thing we got to look at, life goes on. That's a fact. Every day, unfortunately for everybody in the world, thousands of people die on a regular basis. Part of life. It's part of, what's happening. And life has to go on in basketball, the same thing. While we have Kobe, who retired, and this has happened to him, we also have a brand new star in the NBA that's going to be, kind of this, the newness to the superstar within basketball. And I think Zion has suffered through the injury part, has come out and looks every bit what people thought he was.
Yeah, so now on the positive side of basketball, you do have a new young star. You got LeBron at his older age, Curry at his older age, Durant, and, this guy, Zion Williams, was expected to be this juggernaut. Unfortunately, injuries plagued him to start the season. Obviously, very disappointing, but I will say the one thing that I think New Orleans Pelicans did, and it's an underrated skill, which is monitor the injury properly, and they really waited very late in the season to bring him back because he wasn't ready, and they've done a great job. They sat him down because he keeps talking about how he wanted to play earlier. He looks good, looks healthy. This was the point for you to come out, be healthy, and be successful early. He's done that. So well managed by the New Orleans, by the trainers. Good for him for not pushing the envelope. He's looking fantastic here. He's now brought a new life to that team, a team that might be dangerous, not this year, but next year, and has brought a new juice to the NBA to follow in the footsteps of some of the greats that are now still playing. By the way, LeBron James still playing at a tremendously high level, but another guy that's now kind of taking his shoes, trying to fill him a little bit. So very exciting going forward for a team that needs that spark because they've just had their former All-Star traded away this past year in Anthony Davis. So very excited to see him. They'll be successful early. There's no talk of being a bust, so that's got to be nice for him.
Sure looks like it, and we're glad to see that because they did put everything on the line to get him, and it looks like he's going to be every bit the part. Now, the key thing in basketball, of course, is these injuries reoccur. They've done as much as they can. They kept him out as long as they could. Monitor his playing time. I heard the other night he had like 20-some-odd points, and they still pulled him out of the game.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad to see they're looking past records that he could have done this as a rookie first time. I think he actually was still the first rookie to go 20-20 in his first two games.
Yeah,
so
crazy.
It could have been much higher. It sounded like he could have thrown in 30 or 40. So makes him to be a really great talent. So we're looking forward to that.
I'll say New Orleans knows they're bad. I think that's the one thing that the coach over there has a good idea.
So they're not going to get forced into it to try and make a playoff spot.
They're super young. They could be really, really good, but they know they're bad this year. So they've handled it well, which is an underrated skill for many, many teams and players and trainers and coaches. You want that superstar out there to fill the stadium. But you know what?
I think the Toronto Raptors have set. Well, first of all, they set a new statement, which is load management. They took one of the great players, sat him on the bench for a great part of last year, and won a championship. I think people are going to see this now. We're hearing it all the time now, this load management. Teams are going to look towards the end of the season rather than worrying about the middle of the season or whatever if they know they're already going to make the playoffs. So I think the same thing with Zion. They've got to really take care of this kid. He'll be a superstar forever if they do. And we're looking forward to the excitement of what he can bring. Joey, and as part of the conversation, you mentioned LeBron James. The good thing is the league has LeBron. I mean, with Kobe gone and all the good things that he was doing up to this point, LeBron has been doing all of that through his playing career. He is going to continue to do tons for kids, for the NBA, to be the icon that he is. This is a man that is as perfect as you can get, I guess, when you see what he's able to do, and he's still able to play, and he's still able to lead the Lakers. It's insane that he was able to, kind of go slowly into the Lakers. Lots of changes happen. Boom, they're number one this year. It's amazing what he can do.
Well, if you ask Cleveland fans, he's not a perfect human being because he left them twice. But
he did come back and win a championship.
No, I mean,
who else has done that?
Obviously, he's a great guy, man. I never believe anyone's perfect, but this guy has few flaws, and I think so many great qualities that is what's important to the world and to the sport of basketball. And you talk about him playing specifically. I don't like to get in too much into their other parts of their lives because it's hard to really know in depth stuff. I just know obviously he does a great job in so many aspects.
You mean bad things, the press helps us know all that information.
Yeah, but I mean, real quick, great father, great husband, does so many great things for charities. But I like to focus mostly on basketball because I am just a fan.
By the way, since you said that, I don't know whether you guys watch First Take, but Stephen A. Smith,
who's actually
had some criticism about his game and stuff like that, but he does exactly that. But this is preempted by, he's a great father, he's a great player, he's a great person.
Great husband,
Please, no one get on my case because I'm going to talk about something about him that I don't like the way he plays or whatever.
I agree.
It's hilarious.
He's great at so many key aspects of life, but there is obviously, people have had constant beef with his playing career only because playing in the East and getting an easy rise apparently. But it's playing unfair team in the finals so many years in a row and all that stuff, and creating super teams. But specifically right now, he's a Tiger Woods of basketball. Last year, basketball really suffered without him in it. The playoffs were horrible as far as viewership goes. We were happy because we're Raptors fans and they won, but the NBA will tell you not having him in is awful. So, the great thing about athletes these days, they're lasting much longer. LeBron's going to play till 40, play when his kid gets in the NBA. We're going to see him for a long time, but he is like Tiger Woods is to golf. You have to have him for viewership. He's so important, and he's so good this year. The time off last year, missing the playoffs, I said it was a blessing in disguise. He looks phenomenal. Team looks great. This is a championship team ready to go, and hopefully, I never like to use tragedy as a way of helping a team, but sports seems to bring that on a team. I say the Lakers win the championship this year. You see it so many times. The New Orleans Saints won the Super Bowl during hurricane year. I'm drawing a bit of a blank. There's so many reasons.
Many things,
I hope the Lakers go on to win. In Kobe's honor, for LeBron James, for this tragedy, if they go on to win, which they should anyway, because they are the best team in basketball, so it wouldn't be an underdog story.
Yeah.
But it would be kind of an honorary victory on top of the Lakers being back to the top of the game, which they belong and need to be for the basketball, and LeBron needs to be on top of basketball once again. So go get him, LeBron. He's looking fantastic. Maybe he'll play the Raptors. Raptors are looking good. It'd be awesome for us. Win-win scenario. But LeBron James, very important basketball, specifically playing, bringing the viewership, bringing the hype. And he's like Tiger to golf, man. People cannot get enough no matter what age and no matter what he's doing next.
Yeah. And Joe, you just mentioned it's kind of weird the way things happen around tragedy. And I don't know whether everybody knows this or not, but whoever you believe in runs the world and decided to take Kobe the night before, and he had just been interviewed about LeBron getting into number 3. I must give him some kudos. I watched the interview. He was very gracious in LeBron, not breaking a record because he was 3rd, but LeBron passed him for 3rd. Also passed him on, what was the other record?
The All-Star game.
The All-Star game.
Most All-Star game appearances.
So that happened on Saturday night. Sunday morning, the tragedy happens. It's weird how these kinds of things happen. And it just is weird. And I agree with you. We see it all the time where some tragedy happens to somebody, some team, whatever it is, and they end up winning, the championship or a tournament or whatever it may be. It's kind of like a message to the person who's passed away.
Well, there's that, and it's just something that I think LeBron's extra motivated to bring. I mean, they were like brothers, he quotes in his Instagram message. He comes to LA, the team of Kobe, the team of Magic Johnson, so on and so forth, and a team of winning, and it's supposed to be on top of the NBA world. I know even in his heart, he feels like the only way to honor his brother would be to win this championship. And I tell you what, I think he's going to do it, and I think it's something that all these fans of the Lakers, which Kobe brought so many more than even the decade before with Johnson. Every superstar brings more fans, and he was someone who brought a ton. LeBron brought more too. This team needs a championship for all those fans out there, and I know he's going to be extra motivated to do it now with his best friend and brother passing away. I guarantee you this is something that LeBron already had in mind, but now is like you give the best player in the world extra motivation other than being the best. They tend to get it done. I think the Lakers deserve it, need it, and the fan base and need it as well, and so does the city, I think. I think it'll be great. I think there's a strong potential it's going to happen. I think you would have thought that anyway, but you add this to LeBron James. I mean, it's almost unbeatable at this point, and fate, really. So it'll be very interesting. Again, it's the number 1 team in the world, it seems like. Everyone knows the Lakers. Everyone knows the players.
Like the Cowboys. The funny part is you can not be a great team, still everybody talks about you.
Yeah, so
they're like the Cowboys.
The Cowboys of football, everyone knows you, everyone talks about you. They bring stars to the forefront. And now you got LeBron James, who's looking better than ever in his 30s here. So, hopefully it gets done. Like, maybe it's against the Raptors. That'd be a dream come true for us. And, basketball's in a good spot right now. Aside from the tragedy here with young stars, old stars on the playing front, they're looking very, very good in the NBA. It's got to be, happy with the way the league is right now, and obviously very saddened by this. But overall, our NBA show, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and
week.
Exactly what you're saying, though, is went from tragedy to Zion being the new player to LeBron breaking through some of Kobe's records. It's kind of weird all that happens in that same vein we just talked.
And real quick,
and so
the sons of NBA stars are something to watch going forward. I read an article the other day, and someone went through all the sons of NBA stars. They're coming to the forefront very, very fast. You got Scottie Pippen's kids looking very, very good in college. Funny enough, the only person who doesn't really have a kid on the radar is Jordan. I don't know if he has any boys or not, but Michael Jordan doesn't have many kids in the basketball realm. We got Scottie Pippen, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade.
So there's more inspiration.
All these kids are coming up like crazy. I'm telling you, the draft class in 4 or 5 years will be nuts, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's so funny though that no one else. I was like, everyone's like, is Scottie going to come to retirement play this time because LeBron said he's going to do it? I don't think you're going to get that lucky. But,
I don't think he's young enough for that.
Yeah, but looking towards even 5 years down the road, all these kids come through the ranks. It's going to be lots of fun. It's the one sport I think it's more than likely sons will play that sport. You know what I mean? I think football's harder, hockey's harder, but basketball, man, I think it's definitely the sport. You're going to see a lot of juniors out there, LeBron James Jr., Wade Jr., and it's going to be lots of fun.
And here's another funny part, Joey. LeBron is such a typical dad. One of the sportscasters asked him about his kid, and said, wow, he's such a great player, and blah, 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 blah. And he said, yeah, but I never lost a game. So, it's funny to see that. That's like Eddie Dad, right? Like, okay, he's not as great as I am.
Right, yeah, he keeps on saying that. He goes, no, NBA's not guaranteed for him. He's lost 3 games, I didn't lose any. The best thing was he goes, and he also had a math test and a social studies assignment. So, he's doing a great job handling media for his son, because really his son shouldn't have to deal with the media at this young age.
Well, they also asked him what he thought about the draft and what he played with. And he said, guys, he's in grade 9. Yeah. He's got to get through math today. He's got to get through this today. Yeah. And he's bringing some realism to it. He's going to be a girl. He's going to be dating. Yeah, there's going to be time. He's got to get to the NBA yet. So, but anyway, like I say, there's the end of a tragic week that we'll obviously be talking about forever. Some new rising stars in Zion, as well as the kids of all these NBA players. And the king of all NBA, which is LeBron, and it would not be a shocker at all to see him win the championship this year. So there you go. We're off this until we get to next week. We hope you have a great basketball week, and we'll talk to you then.